Beyond the Mic with Sean Dillon.
We're joined on the Starline by author, speaker, and broadcaster. 2 years ago, his son was among 5 killed when an MV-22 Osprey crashed in a training accident. He's a 5-time All-Star, Rookie of the Year, Silver Slugger Award Winner, 2 times a World Series champ, most importantly, Dad. He formed the Captain John J. Sax Family Foundation in his late son's honor. We welcome Steve Sax. Let's go beyond the mic.
Thank you so much, Sean. Thanks for having me today. I'm here to talk about my son's foundation and what a great person my son was. And John was a guy who loved his country. He loved his family. He gave his life to keep us safe. He pledged to do that when he signed up for the Marine Corps. And unfortunately, that's what happened to him when they had double engine failure in an Osprey training accident on June 8th, 2022. We're coming up on the 2-year anniversary. So, Sean, what my family and I have done, we've created the Captain John J. Sax Family Foundation. The mission of the foundation is to help other aspiring aviators accomplish their goal of becoming the best pilot and aviator that they can be. And what we're doing through the foundation is we've created another project called Babe and the Kids. And if people want to check out Babe and the Kids, I want to tell you really quickly what it's about. Babe and the Kids is an NFT, and this is all complex stuff in the new world of NFTs and whatnot. But this NFT is taken from a 1922 snapshot, and you can see it behind me of Babe Ruth getting on a barnstorming tour with hundreds of kids around him, and they all got smiles on their faces because it epitomizes what Babe Ruth was about. You know, he grew up in an orphanage, and he loved children, and that's what this picture personifies. So what we've done with this snapshot is I purchased the original painting from Opie Otterstad, who painted this back in 2000, and he painted that iconic photo on a 4x6 mural, 4 foot by 6 foot. And he supplanted the faces of all those children in that original snapshot with current Hall of Famers when they were little boys. So you can go through here and pick out the 58 Hall of Famers that are on here. And it's astonishing to see because there's no other painting like this. So we've done 2 things. Number one is we digitized it. So you can put this painting on your Apple Watch, or you could put it at SoFi Stadium in LA where it's 129 yards long, and it'll look just exactly like this painting does. The second thing we did, because of the anonymity of all these faces in this painting, we've actually made it interactive by hovering over the face of the little kid. His name comes up, then you double click on that, and the whole mural becomes a 3-minute video of that particular boy playing in the big leagues. Okay? And when that goes away and the video goes away, you go to the next little kid, and you can be here for hours looking at this thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to donate a big portion of our proceeds. As a matter of fact, 75% of all the monies that are going into the foundation this year through various means are going to come from the sale of our project. We're going to be donating that to my son's foundation. And if people want to become on board with this and join our community, because we have a great utility attached to this as well, we're all going to be a team together. They could go to babeandthekids.com. At babeandthekids.com, they can put their name on the wait list there. We'll get a hold of you. We're going to be minting these, only 200 of them.
Steve, thank you so much for everything your son did and stood for. He was a Marine in the elite Purple Foxes, but he was so much more. What's one thing few people know about him?
His selflessness. Johnny was a guy that would think about everybody else but himself, and his determination. His commanding officer, Colonel John Higgins, has said that the most amazing thing about John was his humility. He was an extremely humble young man. He was in the Marine Corps for 5 years, and his commanding officer didn't know that Dad was a baseball player because Johnny never brought it up. He never thought it was an issue. He was a regular guy. I tell you what, if you would have met him, you would have loved him. That's the way he was.
Steve Sax wants you to find out more about the Captain John J. Sax Family Foundation, and he joins us beyond the mic for the Rockin' 8. 8 random questions. Answer with the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay. There's no pressure.
Yeah, okay.
Steve, how much did you celebrate when Angel Hernandez retired?
You know what? I didn't. Internally, I thought it was probably a good thing for him. I mean, the guy just, had it following him everywhere. You know what I mean? I'll tell you how far this went back. Angel Hernandez, my brother played in the big leagues with me. My brother signed with the Dodgers 2 days after I did, okay? And Angel Hernandez threw my brother out of a game in a AAA game. My brother was the nicest guy you'd ever. My brother reminded me a lot of my son. He was the nicest man you'd ever meet, and he was the most easygoing guy. He tossed my brother out of a game in AAA.
Which of the 6 critical elements from your book Shift is the most important for you?
I think the most is the way that you can have a roadmap in your life simply by how you think. Everything starts with what you think about, even down to trivial thoughts. And it's important to monitor the negative, jettison the negative, and keep on the positive. I think that's probably the most important core part of my book.
How about the least favorite ballpark you ever played in?
Great question. I think the least favorite ballpark, maybe Oakland.
I want to know, which pitcher gave you the most competitive at-bats?
John Dobson.
Really?
You remember John Dobson?
Something about him.
I could hit that guy if he told me what was coming. And there were a lot of other guys too, but that guy sticks out in my head a lot. You put me against the Hall of Famer, I could do okay against those guys, but that dude, forget it.
Where's that least known place in Sacramento that you love?
Oh, where I live in Roseville. It's great. There's a lot of history up here, and I'm a history buff, so I really enjoy where I live.
How about the least favorite of your own baseball cards?
Oh, one where I'm running to first base where I look like I'm going to, try to split my pants or something. I got this ugly scowl on my face. I think that one, yeah. What's
the weirdest cameo request you've ever received?
I think once at a ballpark where somebody wanted me to hold their kid while they were changing it. Yeah. Hey, we're changing the wet diaper. You want to hold them? It's like, yeah, right.
In that piece of art behind you is Babe Ruth, surrounded by Hall of Famers when they were kids. So I want to know, could you have hit a homer off of Babe Ruth?
God. Well, I'd like to say if I got hits off of Nolan Ryan, I could hit anybody. So I would have liked to have tried, but let me say this about Babe Ruth. I think he would have been a better player today.
Time for the impossible question with Steve Sax beyond the mic. Steve, if you could tell your son one more thing, what would you say?
Just, I love you.
Well said. It's time for one big question with Steve Sax. Your dad didn't do things through words, but through his actions. Your life was initially through actions, but now through words. If you could tell people why supporting the Captain John J. Sax Family Foundation is important for them to do in just a minute, what would you say?
I would say it's all about your hopes and dreams. My son's path to becoming an aviator in the Marine Corps was not easy. He had a couple of physical problems that he had to get through, a broken elbow, an astigmatism in his eye, that he had to overcome these things. He got in the Marine Corps a little bit later because of these things he had to overcome. And I think it's all about passion and going for what you love to do. And that's what he embodied.
He hated playing in Oakland, got the most competitive at-bats from John Dobson, and he wants you to go to johnnyourhero.org to support the Captain John J. Sax Family Foundation. Steve Sax, thanks for taking the time to talk with us today.
Thank you, buddy. Love you, buddy. Thank you, Sean. Thank you so much.
And that, my friends, is a Beyond the Mic shortcut. If you're enjoying these conversations, please check out another Beyond the Mic episode to find more actors, artists, and people you need to know. We'd also appreciate a like and subscribe on the Good Pods app.